Hello, I'm Dr. Michael Diston. I'm sitting here with Chris Malloy and Steve Farinato of TMFD Financial. We've been talking about getting a practice ready for sale. What are some of the options that a dentist has in terms of selling their practice?
The traditional forms are either arranging through an independent broker or arranging a private sale. So with a private broker, they'll come in and they'll prepare a valuation for the practice. They'll come in and do an assessment. It's kind of like getting a home ready for sale, right? They put a value on it and put it out on the market. So they'll look at the revenue that's happening. They look at the kinds of expenses. They look at the cash flow that the practice is generating so they can determine its ultimate value. The other option is a private sale, which happens more often than you might think. It's just that because it's private, it's not out into the marketplace to see how often it occurs. But this is really the two most traditional ways in which people sell a practice.
Well, what might be the pros and cons of one way versus the other, both financially and maybe personally for the dentist as well?
There's a number of advantages actually going with a broker. And I think one of the top reasons is because you get a chance to have the practice available to a very wide audience. And as a result, you have the chance of getting the highest price as well. Think of it almost like an auction, right? So in this case, you can attract the highest bidder.
What about if a dentist has, either partners or associates that they may want to encourage to buy their practice? Should they involve a broker at that point, or should they keep it a private sale?
Well, what we find, the private sale, as Chris had indicated, is popular as well in those particular situations where you have an associate or a partner that has been working in the practice for a number of years. A broker at that time is still important because of the appraisal that they can generate. You don't necessarily have to sign per se with a broker to help sell the practice, but an appraisal will be required in order for financing to take place. The banks will not lend in today's market without an official appraisal. So the broker will be able to prepare the appraisal, and then that'll be used to help with the deal.
I've heard a lot about corporate dentistry. How does corporate dentistry fit into selling a practice?
Yeah, that is one of the biggest trends that's happening these days. Corporate dentistry are these conglomerates that want to be able to expand and have multiple practices, not only in the province but across the country. And it's almost a pay and stay kind of model. Traditionally, a dentist will sell their practice and they might stay on for a short period of time. But the way that these corporate dental scenarios work is they're asking the dentist to stay on for an extended period of time. Could be 5 years, could be more. In some cases, there's even an opportunity to take equity in the corporate dental scenario. They have targets that must be met over the subsequent years, and the payout could vary depending on that. But one of the other benefits of corporate dentistry is that you have an opportunity to feel like you belong to a larger group. I think one of the elements that happens in dentistry is that a dentist, a practice owner, might feel isolated. If they're in a single dental practice, yes, they have their staff with them, but they don't have other colleagues and peers that are with them. They could accomplish that if they go to study clubs and so on. But if they're part of the corporate dental environment, they can belong to a larger group, have some shared values, attend common events, and feel like they're part of a bigger family that way.
What I found a number of times where I've had a number of our practice owners approach us and ask about corporate dentistry, I think the attractiveness is the ability to get a large capital amount up front. So when we talk about planning and retirement and getting access to a large capital amount and being able to still continue to work for another 4, 5, maybe even 10 plus years, and people are asking us, where is dentistry going? Do I want to take advantage of a potentially higher sale price today? Who knows where it's going to be in 5 years or 10 years? So you need to keep all these things in mind when you're looking at these. It's a business model. The corporate dentistry, I think, is here to stay. They obviously see things in the future that dentistry is still strong. They want to be able to utilize economies of scale and provide the same level of care to patients.
Would you think that you can get better value for your practice from a corporate sale environment versus the other
That's an
traditional methods?
interesting question. I think that it can vary because, like, for example, with a broker scenario, they may be able to attract the highest price, but then there's the cost of doing the deal with them as well. And commission rates can be 8 to 10% quite often, sometimes less, but it can be up to that level as well. And that might equalize the value of a private sale. And there's other factors to consider, whether it's a good fit, for example. With corporate dentistry as well, we've seen different kinds of prices paid, and it varies. It's all about what can be negotiated. And at TMFD Financial, we're in a position to help dentists evaluate the different choices. And we're connected with all the different brokers in the industry, the various banks, and we're familiar with the corporate dental solutions that are out there too. So we can help clients find the right solution for them. One of the key things that I think is important is to have a financial plan put in place. That plan can look at all aspects of a dentist's financial life. So it can address the key question about retirement readiness.